All right. We're going to start this thing off with AOC. Now, there was a video that's right now been going viral. In fact, two things, because it turns out AOC is vying not only for this position, because, at least for oversight committee, she seems to be getting a lot of pushback from one Nancy Pelosi. But before we talk about that, AOC decided to comment on the assassination of the United Healthcare CEO, Brian Thompson. And she talks about how she gives a word salad. Okay. But everyone right now seems to be upset on how she says, and this is her quote, "This is not to say that an act of violence is justified, but I think for anyone who's confused or shocked or appalled, they need to understand that people interpret and feel and experience denied claims as an act of violence." Which, hey, I'll agree with AOC on this one. Absolutely. Absolutely. Look, people being denied healthcare services, it's a brutal feeling. And this world is unforgiving, and it will beat you down until, well, you stay down, but you can't stay down. Now, it's one thing to focus on that. It's more of what she says at the end. Because we cannot forget forced to vote. We cannot forget forced to vote. So everyone listen very carefully, because it's only going to be at the end. And I wish people were focusing on what she was saying at the end, because it has to deal with our congressmen and women who have gold-plated health care. So let's go ahead and play this video for everybody to hear.
Taken from a diagnosis. And I think that this collective American experience, which is so twisted to have in the wealthiest nation in the world, all of that pain that people have experienced is being concentrated on this event. And it's really important that we take a step back. This is not to comment, and this is not to say that an act of violence is justified. But I think for anyone who is confused or shocked or appalled, they need to understand that people interpret and feel and experience denied claims as an act of violence against them. People go homeless over the financial devastation of a diagnosis that doesn't get addressed, or the amount that they're going to have to cover with a surprise bill and things like that. And when we kind of talk about how systems are violent in this country, in this passive way, our privatized healthcare system is like that for a huge amount of Americans. I mean, I did not.
Okay. Right here at the 1 minute, 15-second mark. Okay. And on the one hand, okay, AOC, you're going to say how you didn't have health care. But what about everybody else? And when you were asked to fight for us in 2021?
Of Americans. I mean, I did not have health insurance until I got elected to Congress. I was running, when I first ran for Congress, I had to sit in a free clinic while waiting.
Okay, so wait. You didn't have health care. You didn't have health care until you got into Congress. Just so you guys can hear that again, one more time.
It's like that for a huge amount of Americans. I mean, I did not have health insurance until I got elected to Congress. I was running, when I first ran for Congress, I had to sit in a free clinic while waiting.
Yes, right. So there's a couple more to that video, but we can't forget when we asked AOC to fight for us. And it's just a reminder.
We can't even get a floor vote on Medicare for all.
That's garbage. You can do it right now. We need 15 Democrats.
Hi, Jimmy.
We need the elected officials that you helped get elected to tell Nancy Pelosi that you will not vote for her as Speaker unless Medicare for All is put on the House floor for a vote.
I think it's a really smart idea.
You know, the worst abuse of power, Crystal, is not using the power you have to fight for people.
Will they? Time to let AOC know they have no other option because we're watching and we see through their bullshit excuses.
We have to put public pressure on them.
I want to see who's going to vote against healthcare in the middle of a pandemic. If you're not going to do it now, you are never going to do it, you phony.
All the people who filled up your voicemail, they're going to remember whether you did the right thing here.
Which side are they really on? This is where you force progressive House members to reveal who they answer to. Do they answer to their constituents or do they answer to the party bosses? Listen to AOC's own words.
The Democratic Party does not do more unless it is pushed.
And so this moment is the great unmasking.
Force it to happen.
Ask them, are you fighters or are you careerists? Are you activists for the people or are you posers on Twitter?
Everyone's going to try to tell you that if you're just a little bit nicer, then it'll be fine. No.
The whole point of protesting is to make people uncomfortable. You got to make them uncomfortable. She's pretending to be part of a movement when she's really running cover for Nancy Pelosi. Did you think anybody voted for you so you could vote Nancy Pelosi without getting them anything? This is Medicare for all. People's actual lives depend on us doing this.
Yeah, exactly.
Now it's your chance to actually use your leverage. Will you?
Take risks.
Or will you be a party fucking climber?
Start bringing the ruckus on the Democratic Party. Force it to happen. Do not trust any political party to automatically work in your interest.
I call on everybody in independent media to join this mission.
Force it to happen.
Force the Congress to show which side are they really on. No vote for Nancy Pelosi unless Medicare for All is put on the House floor for a vote.
Interesting how things have changed. And now, even as we speak, and I wanted to play that in its entirety, we're witnessing now AOC going for the highest seat right now, or is that trying to push up her game? So AOC's oversight rise marks of Democratic generational shift, a generational shift for us all to see. So Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is poised to become the top Democrat on the House Oversight Committee. My goodness, she could become Nancy Pelosi 2.0, punctuating a huge generational shift in the party's power centers amid a sudden overthrow of senior leaders. Ocasio-Cortez and Rep. Gary Connolly have been canvassing the entire Democratic caucus as they compete for the ranking position on oversight next year. The old guard doesn't want to give up, making calls between meeting with influential blocs in the party and laying out their vision for the high-profile panel. But according to interviews with dozens of members and staffers, Ocasio-Cortez has earned the support of the majority of Democrats on the panel, though it's the steering and policy committee and the full caucus who ultimately decide. The oversight panel is stacked with younger, more progressive members who tend to align with her than Connolly. Separately, two top Democrats on the House panels have withdrawn to make room for younger leaders, and 79-year-old Representative Dave Scott of Georgia is on the verge of being pushed aside from a top spot on the House Agriculture Committee. So there you go. It is an unexpected climb for the New York progressive, a former bartender who first rose to power 6 years ago as an outsider, willing to topple the party's old guard, in that case, former Representative Joseph Crowley. We all remember that, and it was a huge shaking of the foundations. But here we go. I want to play this video here. It's only just 1 minute, but let's play this video here.
I want to ask you about AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, announcing her bid for the top Democrat spot on your committee. What are your thoughts? Would you like to co-chair with her?
I'm a big AOC fan. Obviously, I don't agree with very much of her policy, but I think she's a good person. I think she's very well spoken. I did not have a good relationship with Jamie Raskin. I don't think that's any secret. I tell the press when they ask about the race for a ranking member, the Democrats have nowhere to go but up after having Jamie Raskin for the last 4 years. So I think AOC would be great. Jerry Connolly would be great. I know Raj Krishnamurti, Ro Khanna, their names have been thrown in the hat. But I certainly look forward to working with the next ranking member. And if it's AOC, I think.
Another thing is we're seeing a couple people. Lawrence Fine can't stand her policies. What policies? What are they? Stop Trump. Now, of course, There's more to this, but let's play a little bit more into this video.
We'll have a good working relationship. We'll obviously have a lot of differences on policy, but I think she's a good, well-spoken person for the Democrats to serve in that position.
Eddie, I want to ask you about
Now let's stop here, because this is a fight right now, and obviously the Democrats, while they are currently recovering from their beating on November 5th, Democrats need to realign themselves, reimagine themselves. But we've seen this reimagining done before, way back in 2008 with Barack Obama. The hope and change. And of course, we saw Bernie Sanders and his moment to shine way back in 2016 and in 2020, where there was this talk of doing a political revolution. But you cannot change something that is so corrupt that it is impossible to move. And if you join the Democrat Party, it does corrupt you. It does change you. And you try and maintain your power. A lot of these politicians, when they get into office, they're thinking about their careers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years down the road, where they're going to go from here. And it's okay to believe in idealism. But the thing is, when you're trying to make a message about Medicare for all, when you're trying to make a message about healthcare in this country, and then you're going to tell people that you didn't have healthcare until you got into Congress. If we look at Congress's healthcare plan, we're the ones that are taking care of them. They have a gold-plated healthcare. They're going to be okay. They have the coverage. So if they get sick, care comes their way. You get sick, you get denied it. You lose your job, you lose your healthcare. We have nothing. The richest country in the world, and we have nothing. And when we asked AOC and those other squad members to step up for us way back in 2021, they did nothing. They didn't help us out. They didn't support us. They walked away. That's the leadership that we want. I want to pull up this video here. Not video, but this screenshot. I want to give a huge shout out to Due Dissidents from Russell himself. This is a screenshot that he got. And the thing is, we all know a person like this or seen a person like this. My wife has cancer. It took 5 months to wipe out 20 years of life savings, and that was with insurance. The experience has turned me into a hateful, bitter person. We did everything we were told. We went to college, got degrees, avoided credit card debt, spent wisely, saved a nice chunk of money in savings accounts and retirement accounts, and minded our own business. The U.S. healthcare system took all of our savings and retirement and forced us to refinance our house so that we lost 15 years of equity. This is a country I'm supposed to be proud of. I hate the system and anyone that defends it. How many loved ones do we know? And AOC, you know, if you want us to stand with you, and yes, everyone's speaking out about what happened to the United Healthcare CEO. When you bring up the fact of your situation, you're fine right now. Now, back in the day, okay, let's say you were struggling too, right? Let's say that. Is it wise for a lot of these congressional representatives now to say, oh, we must do better. We need to talk about Obamacare 2.0. We need to talk about doing Medicare for all. Well, you could talk and talk and talk, or you could do action. Now's not the time to tweet out and say, oh, my goodness, what would Medicare for all do for you? It would mean the world for people. And I am going to get angry. And I am going to get upset, because when you say, I didn't have health care till I got into Congress, great, you got into Congress. What are you doing now? What about us, the people? Compromise, and all what you're going to get from the Democrats is nothing but a middle finger. I want to make a bold prediction here. Be prepared, especially as this trial situation for the assassination of the United Healthcare CEO continues to go on. You'll see Democrats talk about Medicare for all, but ask them what they're going to do about it. And be prepared to see an email from the Democrats saying, can you give us $10 so we could fight for Medicare for all? They're going to give you words and platitudes, just like how they talk about any other issue. Words, platitudes, no actions or deeds. Do you trust the Democrats to follow through on this? I don't.